Hello team and welcome back. Today I have a treat for you, as promised, a Selesnya ramp deck that can be okay in Mythic. And by okay I mean better than okay, we'll see. So, the purpose of this deck is to utilise this card, Vivien on the Hunt. As a reminder for those who have forgotten, Vivien from the Streets of New Capenna is a 6 costing Planeswalker, so obviously is a high mana cost for a Planeswalker. So we do have to use it as a build around, and we have to have ramp to get there, which we have. Vivien's abilities are +2, you may sacrifice a creature, search your library basically for a creature with mana value 1 more than the creature. Note, not, less than 1 more or anything, it has to be exactly 1 more. Put it onto the battlefield. +1, mill 5, but any number of creature cards milled this way into your hand. So if we have a critical mass of creatures, which we have 25 in this deck, that's a very high number of creatures, we should find at least 2. Sometimes we'll find 5, sometimes we'll find 1, but we're averaging a decent number, as over a third of our cards are creatures. -1, create a 4/4 green Rhino Warrior. It's used less often, but sometimes you do just need an extra creature. If, for example, we're expecting a Liliana or an Invoke Despair, we can create a Rhino just to save one of our other creatures, or sometimes just that knowing that you've got that Rhino can tip the board in your favour. So it can be useful, but we're mainly looking at the +2 and +1 here. As I said, to get to Vivien, you need plenty of ramp. We have ramp in the form of 4 Gala Greeters, 2 Llanowar Loamspeaker, and 4 Topiary Stompers. So we have effectively 10 ramp cards in this deck, which is quite a lot. The Gala Greeters is a particularly nice card because we are quite a top-heavy deck, and as I said in the sort of green version, the green deck that I played before, being able to gain life back is really nice. It can sort of help us tide over to get to the late game against aggressive decks, or being able to choose to take treasure. I just like, the more I play with this card, the more I like it. Obviously, it's susceptible to cut down and Meathook Massacre, but the tail off of black in the meta has made this card instantly more playable. So yeah, this combined with Loamspeaker, which is basically just a decent mana dork for 2, and Topiary Stomper can be a nice body to have around later on. We have this sort of ramp package. On top of that, to help us get to our late game, we have 3 Anointed Peacekeepers. This card is literally a beast in the current meta, and I would say in any meta. I think this is actually a brilliant card. It's 3 costing Human Cleric, 3/3 with Vigilance. Vigilance is just a nice added bonus on this card for some reason. As it enters the battlefield, look at an opponent's card, then choose any card name. Spell your opponent's cast with the chosen name costs 2 more to cast. So sort of a what do you call it? The 3/1 flyer effect, basically taxing for 2 a specific card name. Note, we don't have to choose a card that we see in their hand, so if we just look in their hand and there's nothing of a threat, but we know they're mono black, for example, we can choose Invoke Despair, or we can choose Meathook Massacre, a card that we know they'll be running. If we're playing against mono blue, we could choose Essence Scatter, or the Haughty Djinn, or whatever we know they're going to be playing that will target our deck specifically. Note, it also has activated abilities of sources with the chosen name cost 2 more, so it is particularly effective against Planeswalkers, because not only will the Planeswalker cost them 2 more to cast, but then every time they activate a loyalty ability, it'll cost them 2 more mana, so very, very effective against Planeswalkers. 4 Brutal Cathar as our creature-based removal. Obviously, I'm not playing Thalia in this deck, so I don't have to have creature-based removal. But due to our ability to search up Brutal Cathar with Vivien, it's a nice to be able to search your deck for removal by sacking any of our 6 2-drops. And also, it is a creature-based deck, so having more creatures present on the board that can get in for damage is helpful. 1 Augur of Autumn, it's just got a really nice effect to have 1 of. I never want 2 of them, hence why I'm only running 1. 2 Wandering Empress as a bit of additional removal and creature creation, and just all-round brilliant card. 1 Ulvenwald Oddity. The reason we're running 1 of these is I need a creature that costs 4. Because of Vivien, if I want to sort of go up the ladder and +2 each turn, I need a 4-drop creature to go through, and sometimes finding an oddity in our deck will be exactly what we want. Finding a haste creature, so I could play the Augur, the opponent's on 4, I just sack it immediately, get a 4/4 with haste, and then we win. So this can also be a game-winning thing to find with Vivien, as can Brutal Cathar. So yeah, very, very sick card, and also, yeah, we need a 4-drop creature. This is the one. It's got a nice mana sink for late game when we don't have anything else to play, and can genuinely tip the game in our favour. 2 Ajani Sleeper Agent, so this is to help us find more creatures off the top of our deck, and also to give our creatures a bit of extra size and vigilance if required. We're rarely going to use the -6. 2 AO the Dawn Sky. AO has had a bit of a comeback recently, and in this deck, it's had a comeback because of the lack of exile spells in the current standard. There's only really Farewell and March of Otherworldly Light. Obviously things like Brutal Cathar are around, but you don't see it very often, only in my decks really. So yeah, exile effects being less prominent makes Dye's effects better, and that's what we're seeing with AO, and it's why it's having a resurgence. In this deck it's particularly nice because we can put it in as a 5-drop, immediately sack it using Vivien, and turn it into a Sanctuary Warden, which is obviously a very strong 6-drop that's hard to remove. So yeah, AO, very, very nice card, and can give us a bit of sustainability on the board. Running 1 Workshop Warchief for exactly the same reason. It's lovely when it enters the battlefield, and it's got a great Dye's effect, so pairs very well with Vivien, just for when we want to sack it and turn it into a Sanctuary Warden. 1 Elspeth, because it can be a very strong board shift breaker, stale board breaker. Giving a creature flying, giving a creature lifelink can make all the difference in certain games. The number of times that I play this, put a lifelink counter on an AO and then lifelink for 6 in the air is, it's changed the game so many times. So running 1 Elspeth. We do also have lots of decent 3-drops that we don't mind finding with the -3. So the -3 is pretty powerful in this deck as well. 1 Sanctuary Warden as discussed, and then 2 Titans at the top end. I'm only running 2 because I've have to make space in the top end with Vivien, and I can search up for them with the Warden. Obviously 2 Titans isn't a huge number, but I couldn't run 4 and 3 Viviens, and running fewer than 3 Viviens doesn't really make the deck work. So that's the idea anyway. The thing about the deck is we are running 27 lands, which is obviously quite a high number, but with this high curve you really do need that many. Note that I'm running a couple of triomes that have white and green in them, just so that we have that extra dual land to hit our, double, a lot of double white and double green cards in here, triple green even with Titan, but also to give us that cycling later if we do flood out of our 27 lands. What you'll find playing this deck is that if you do draw the Vivien, you're never flooding too hard. That mill 5 cards and pull you out creatures. I mean, our average creature cost is like 4 in this deck. So if you draw 2 every turn, that's 8 mana you can spend a turn. You're never going to not have stuff to do with your land. So that is the point of the deck. It's to get to Vivien and then dump creatures out until they cry and concede. I have had so much fun in testing with this. You'll notice when I look later at the number of games I played even before starting to record this video, it's been so much fun. So I will showcase you some of the games I've had with it, and then sort of recap on the performance and statistics at the end. I hope you enjoy. Okay, let's see how we get on with Esper. Esper? Selesnya. Long day. I don't like not having green. That's better. Sorry Vivien, but you have to go for now. We would like a 3-drop creature, please. There are a few in our deck. 9, 12. There's one of them. That'll do. Anyone will do. Just let me trigger Greeters, and I will be happy. We definitely want to remove Shana. Even if they then get her back, at least we've delayed them a turn. Oh, it's a Jode, I think. Lagarella. And no. Sadly, they can still afford their Lagrella. 16 damage. Nice. We might as well attack with the Peacekeeper. Sort of maybe stabilised. If we do turn this around, it is a miracle. I went a little bit quiet whilst I thought about how not to get steamrolled by this deck. Okay. They can't actually tap to put a counter on that, can they? No, it's just because they got another one to play. Oh, so they can draw 3. I see. Interesting that we can flip the Oddity. That is probably the right thing to do. We'll let the Cathars flip. We will transform our Oddity and go from there. I wonder if there's another Lagrella. Ratadrabe. They can't play Lagrella now, so that's nice. Okay. We'll just first strike the Shana, so there won't be any cards to draw. Not sure if that's what they were intending, to draw cards, but you can take that. Oh. Damn! Oh, that was just... I mean, my brain malfunctioned a little bit when we were facing like 4 10-10s on turn, whatever it was, but that was so good. I had to think, but it was good. We can keep this because Stomper on play tends to be okay. I mean, it would have been nice to draw a 2-drop. Let's hope the opponent doesn't hold open a counter. Balls. Just gotta hope, really. Got away with it, that's nice. Feel free to bounce my Stomper though, that would be nice. A nice treat for me. No? No, that's a shame. Wedding announcement. Yeah, that's okay. Can develop my board safely. Either of these feel free to bounce. I assume that's what they have since they, you know... what? Why kill that though when there's nothing under it? Could Stomper and get the clue, but I think Vivien is actually just better.
Watch out! I'm on the hunt. Now what?
Only 2 creatures out of the 5, but we'll take it. Would be nice to top a land so we don't have to use Boseiju, which I might want for this, but we got Endless Titan, so the thing is now they see we have a Titan, they might hold open for counters. I don't know, I assume they might be playing Make Disappear, but they would have had to have drawn it because they didn't have one before. They would have played it, definitely, to get rid of the Stomper or the Cathar. Especially since they were terrified of the Cathar. What to do? Guess they could have another absence for Vivien, but I've already got a bit of value. This is really the star of the show against the meta at the moment. Being able to like draw another like 3 to 5 cards, I'd say on average, by the end of your turn, is just amazing. That makes me not want to play a Titan. The fact that they holding open all this mana. Let's just go for a double Stomper. I don't know if they've got a counter. Could be nothing. Could just be bounce spells. Yeah, it's just an absence. Should have used them. Knowing that they're running absence, I should have played the Planeswalker loyalty ability first. That was a blunder by me. But hey, having 3 4/4 vigilance down against 3 lands, it's pretty solid. We've got these 2 to use as well. And we've got 9 lands to their 3. God, what a ramp. Oh, it's just vicious. The Celestus. I understand doing that when your mana's screwed, but I will be coming for the Celestus, I'm afraid. I don't care about your wedding festivity particularly. You could double block one of these. But if I deny you mana, we're in golden shape. Just double jumping. Double jumping probably means there's a board white in tow, so I don't want to play another creature. We'll just use our 2 mana on drawing more. We've got plenty of power down now. I would guess I could depopulate maybe. Maybe I should have put a shield counter on Titan. Probably. Could be a second mistake. They're just maybe calculating if a Wandering Emperor saves them. It doesn't, because it would be 16 going through into 15 life if they exiled a Titan. So I would not recommend holding open for Emperor. That definitely doesn't save you. We'll use this. I mean, just so we're not holding priority. But now they've got 1 mana. GG. Just out-ramped. Just ramp. Okay, good start. Vivien to go through now. Ooh. It's probably right on the cusp of just keepable. I mean, this is crap. We only got 2 in the deck. But, yeah, I was going to say, odds of us drawing a 2 or 3 drop creature are quite good. Probably going to die against Izzet colours, but never know. Exiled, okay. I wonder what we're against. I was kind of hoping that would be a Fable, so we could just exile the token and be back in parity. I think we'll just try playing this since we have a spare. And they clearly have Destroy, or Burn, I mean.
Till the multiverse is one, we will fight to make it so. Phyrexia welcomes.
I wanted to see if there was extra burn for the Planeswalker or not. I'm still not sure what we're against. Maybe it's some kind of creature cheap spell deck. Either way, I think we'll plus this. There isn't a quench effect, is there, in this? No Joie, I know. So I might as well just try playing Stomper before playing a land.
Every day more rally to our glorious cause.
countered, I suppose, but I guess this is some kind of haughty Jin deck. Just, you know, slightly unusual version. Okay, we're ahead on land again now. That's the main goal of this deck. Once we get ahead on land, we tend to be enough of a value engine to win, but I guess a Memory Deluge here could get them in a nice shape. Depends what the goal of this deck is, I'm still not sure. Just seen a couple of cheap spells so far. Obviously a big decision. Big score. Curious, maybe this is going to like try and copy a spell. Like Galvanic Iteration maybe? I don't know why you need so much mana otherwise. Got 7. Maybe a Jinga Taxius. Right. Fires of Victory.
The enemies of perfection with this battle.
Okay. So how much we got? 6. AO is tempting because it's hard for them to remove. There's no exile in blue-red. I guess they're running the temporal, whatever it's called. On the other hand, we could do like Gala Greeters and Ajani. Yeah, let's do that. Any counter spells yet? No. Let's see what we can draw. So do we want a 7th land? Not useful next turn, so we'll bottom it. I mean, it would activate Stomper, but... Excuse me. So they could do the fires again, right? Fires of Victory. On Ajani for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah.
You've halted a car, not a machine.
And the Exile Greeters. So let's do Cathar on Lear. Let's do Augur of Autumn. Play the land off the top. Attack for 4. Okay, let's see if there is a board wipe then. Not a board wipe, but they have got the Lear back. Which isn't too scary for us at the moment. 6 mana. I guess this deck is all about the Lear. I haven't seen this played at all, so it's actually interesting to play against something a bit different for a change. I wonder how this does against mono black though, because this is very susceptible to being forced to sack your Lear if there's no other creatures. They could be running the counter that creates a 2/2 decayed zombie maybe, but... Memory Deluge and Xander's Lounge. And Celestus. Okay. Let's just play this. And then we'll plus to mill. Although we will mill our Elspeth.
I'll show you city slickers how we handle things in the wild.
I think the Augur's going to be a good value engine, so I could +2 and get the get the what do you call it? Ulvenwald Oddity. I don't want to minus it, and if I plus 2 it'll survive 5 damage, so this could be the right thing to do. Stomper's good, but
Well, it's a dog.
Oddity's just a better version. The +1 on Vivien is less good if you know your top card isn't a creature. I mean, it's 1 of 5, it isn't a draw. It's not a huge difference, but it is a difference. Just passing it straight back to us, interesting. So much land on top. Should we try flipping at the Oddity is the question. Let's try it. Let's attack and try. We haven't got any. Well, no. Let's just play the AO. Flipping the Oddity is the last resort against all this mana, isn't it? Just asking for a beating if we try and flip it. That's where this is all going. Hullbreaker Horror. And then they can bounce it if I try and flip it. But I probably have to try and flip it and have to force them to bounce it. Oh, they're not even gonna... I would have blocked it first if I was them. I'm not sure if we can get through this Hullbreaker Horror. Or any way of getting rid of it is, just so I don't hold priority, let's do this, we know what we're drawing, is a Brutal Cathar and or Wandering Emperor, I suppose, could be the way if they attack with it and we Wandering Emperor.
Things are getting heated, and I'm here to make it
that's
blazing.
the only other removal we have. And we know there's only a Loamspeaker on. I don't have an easy way of shuffling. Could just be GG, I think. That's a nice deck. Good against us for sure. I would say would lose against black, but nah, good against us. Alright. My wonderful win streak ended after just 2 games, but ended by a weird deck. Very hard to know how to play against it. I'll know better next time. Probably just about a keep. Let's see. Not ideal, but maybe we still have time to draw one of our 2-drops. Sadly, we did not. But against black-white, I would guess we... Oh, Esper. I could kill that. It's probably worth it. Our land is less good than the Celestus. Although now I don't have my second green source. Ah. Got a bit lucky though. Only a little bit. We did have other plays. What are they going to do with their 5 mana? For a Fiend. Nasty. I jolly hope that they don't have a Make Disappear. Interesting if they played that underdog with a Rafine in hand. I wonder if they had any other options. I would guess no other 2-drops. Throwing away a Shieldred. Now I'm worried. Okay, so we're not being countered, which is nice, so we can play AO. Hopefully no exile effect for them. Anyone really would be worse, like Farewell or something worse for them, so... What are the like non-mirror exile effects, like March? I think we block. Yeah. Do we block though? Yeah. Wandering Emperor. I wonder. Now they've got a real choice. Problem is we're already down to 13, so taking another 4 is just starting to get heavy. I'll take double Greeters, I think. That's a load of mana for next turn. Hitting 2 of these off of AO is just so nice. So we got 8. What do we do? Let's try and exile Rafine. Wait, let's do this first. Let's see what we're playing against. There's got to be a Wandering Emperor in this hand. No. So what? What do they want back from the graveyard? Shieldred? Maybe. Yeah. Let's just blank the AO for now, shall we? Nice thing about Anointed Peacekeeper is I get to see how wrong I am when predicting what's in their hand. So now the question is, do we bother exiling Rafine knowing that we're probably facing a Shieldred next turn? Probably. Rafine is pretty vicious, and it's the thing that pairs nicely with Shieldred. Let's gain some life. And then 1/1/1. Half and half. Nope. And then flip. Just a second children in there. So not loads of choice. Yep. We'll get rid of that. So they can play Shieldred and then that's it really. Tap Bankbuster for some life. Yeah, still couldn't play AO. And then we will Vivien and look for another Brutal Cathar. I could sack a Gala Greeters to get a Brutal Cathar, actually.
There's something
Ooh.
almost feral about this city. I like it.
Let's do that. Don't often do that, but against this Sheoldred, it's the right play.
Nature adapts to any environment.
Power up Bankbuster. Yeah. No. Oh, they want to draw off it instead. Probably should have drawn in response then. Oh, that is just sweet. The power of Vivien. I want a Cathar. Here, have a Cathar. Lovely. Alright. We've had some quite taxing games so far. I'd quite like an easy... Oh no. That's not easy. This is a bunch of crap. Jode of Barbarian. I need a keepable hands, not all this rubbish. What is this? Isn't even keepable, but can't not keep it, right? Oh no, some kind of ghoul aggro. That could help. Cathar could help, but I'm sure there will be removal spells in here. Probably that bloody tail swipe again. Well, we've done 2 damage to the opponent, as much as they've done to us. Problem is now could be like Raiju, Alana and Alina. Goodness gracious. 5/4 pack leader. Gonna have to take the Alana and Alina. Gonna have to try and get AO down next turn and Elspeth the turn after. God's sake, look at the size of this pack leader. No block. We can block with the Cathar next turn. This turn, I mean. Because they'll just get a second partners, which it won't help them. I'll have to just sack one. Oh my god. This is some serious pain happening, isn't it? Well, that will have to block with AO. They should attack with Alana and Alina, because we have to block the other 2. Actually, we're just dead. GG. Too fast for me. Well, I said I wanted a nice, easy, fast one, and that is what I got, but for the other person. I mean, if we'd have been on the play, it would have been a different story, but we were not. So, never mind. What am I? 6 2-drops, please? No. Cult Conscript. That's a less worrying card. Because we're going to ramp, and we're going to ramp well. So if they play like a Braids now, we will have a way of getting rid of that. Obviously can't block that. You wouldn't believe the number of games I've had where people don't attack into these, not realising they can't block. Imagine if it was just a 4/4. It'd be so good. Okay, we're definitely playing the other one of these out. There's another common line, which will be so sweet. Next turn, I mean. 6, yeah, 7, and then we can double Cathar into whatever. And we'll only be down to 11. Which is not the end of the world. If this is the Sheoldred, go down to 9, but we got some solutions to this. Meathook Massacre would be bad. They can't do it for 4 though, so we'll still have blockers. Are you going to Meathook for 3? I guess so. I'd rather sack a Stomper for 3 life, which is effectively what we're doing. No. What was the attack for then? I'm very confused. Okay, Lyanowar of the Vale. Why they didn't play their Lyanowar of the Vale, we may never know. They're now down to 1. Good old Brutal Cathar and Topiary Stomper. We basically played 2 cards that game. Okay, just a quick look at the stats of this deck as promised. So, as I mentioned at the start of the video, I have played, well, nearly 50 games of this deck now. That shows you how much I'm enjoying it. It is really good fun. Being able to play lots of big creatures and play with expensive planeswalkers has always been something that I've enjoyed in the game. And it helps that we beat the things that we face most often as well. Like Esper, Blue and Black, all good victories for this deck. I've got a decent amount of games against Black now, look, 10 games, and we're winning, you know, 66% or whatever it is against that deck. So 70% against that deck. So really, really nice. Decks that we're struggling against, well, the only ones I can say with certainty really is that Gruul deck that we played a couple of times. The things that aggro really hard can be a struggle if we don't, especially if we don't find the Gala Greeters and if we're on the draw. But that's going to be any deck, I would say. And then Rakdos I've lost a couple of times against. I don't think that appeared in the video, but obviously Rakdos sack can be something that is quite low curve and get under us as well. Typically, things that rely on black removal against this deck are going to struggle because we've got so many creatures coming out. Things that, like the white-blue, I would expect us to struggle a bit against because things like Farewell can be fairly devastating against our board, although Vivien is there as a value engine in those cases. What I would say is, you can see I've had 6 versions of this deck now, so I've really been playing around with it, and I've sort of been playing around with it during playing in Mythic. I'm up to 64% win rate playing in this last sort of version of the deck. So I think it still has room to be tweaked. I think the curve needs putting towards the low end slightly more. I'm not entirely sure how to do it. I could ditch one Ajani, could ditch the Warchief maybe, could ditch one Vivien, but I worry about doing that because it is the one thing that seems to swing the games back in our favour. So yeah, the deck could be tweaked. Maybe if I lowered the cost of 1 card and remove 1 land, take it down to 26 or something, possibly. Since we do have a lot of ramp spells, we might not need 27 if we lower the curve slightly. But anyway, I'm going to play around and tweak a little bit more, but I highly recommend giving it a go if you like this type of deck. Obviously, if you don't, please don't. But yeah, I've had so much fun with it, and it is genuinely a winning deck on the Mythic ladder in Standard at the moment. So have a go. Let me know how you get on. I'd love to hear any feedback you have on it. I think for my next deck, I've had a request to do a Jund deck, which is a colour combination I've been playing around with a bit, so I will give that a go for the next one, see if I can get something to work by then. But thank you very, very much for watching, especially those who stayed to the end. I very much appreciate it. Bye for now, and see you next time.